Hi and welcome Smashbox team. We're so excited to be with you today. We're going to be talking about all of our holiday updates for this season. So we're going to be going through a lot, so get a pen and paper so you can take any notes. And if you have any questions, be sure to send an email to me or Debbie. So we're going to start off by talking about a couple key initiatives that we're really focusing on to make sure that our product launches are successful each season. And two things that we need to focus on a little bit more, which of course you guys already know, but we want to just kind of loop back around, is with brows. So Debbie is a brow girl, right?
Yes.
What's your favorite brow product right now?
I'm in love with the Glossy Brow, actually.
Exactly. I love the Glossy Brow as well. It's great because it can make a full brow like mine look fuller, and it gives you that shine just like healthy hair has. But with Debbie, when you lay down something opaque on the skin like a matte product, that's going to build in her definition. But if we want to make her brows look fuller and make the hair look a little bit more prominent, we're going to add that glossy pencil over top. So this is a glossy pencil in taupe, and not hard to use, but again, we're just going to do light little kicks across the brow, making sure that you're really just lightly working the product into the hairline, not so much heavily onto the skin. And that's why we really want to demo this product onto the hair rather than onto the hand. A lot of times when clients feel this on their hand, they might notice that it's a little bit sticky, but it is actually supposed to be sticky because that texture allows it to grip the hair, and it's going to make it a nice long wearing product. So it's, again, not made to be used directly onto the skin, but more to coat that hair and give it that really beautiful kind of vibrant high shine finish, which adds in dimension and adds in texture, making her brows look more beautiful and a little bit more pop and lively to the brows as well. So then the other thing that of course we want to focus on, which is a beautiful palette, is our Shape Matters palette. And Debbie has that in her hand. We love it. And I think we know at Smashbox, shape definitely matters, whether you're working with shapes for the eyes, or if you're finding out your client's face shape, or if you're just enhancing their brow with a brow powder. So this is a great way to, again, you can use that matte brow powder as her base to create the definition of the brow and then add that glossy pencil over top. With the eye shadows, you have so many different tones. You have mattes and shimmers, so you can really enhance all different eye shapes. The shimmer is going to pull it forward, where the matte is going to make the products recede. But what we're going to talk a little bit about again today is always our contour. It's our #1 selling color product, and we love to enhance those cheekbones. So going in with the contour first to create a little bit of definition, just going to look at Debbie's center of her ear, and then guide the contour down towards the edge of the lip. And Debbie, where do we stop?
We're going to stop at the edge of the eye.
Edge of the eye. So if you want to kind of guide your client along, you can hold your brush right there and show her where to stop her contour, and it's going to give her that perfect definition. One thing I love to do when I'm contouring is a little bit of a stippling motion. I find that the stipple creates a more even application, and then I can go back in with my secondary tone, which is the bronze, and then I can go in and blend it out. So right above the contour, the bronze tone is going to blend up into the hairline, soften into the hair, and diffuse out the other products. So Debbie now has that beautiful kind of sun-kissed look that's not overly enhanced. And then last but not least, we're going to finish off with that matte highlight. And even if you want to use glow, I'd always recommend starting off with your matte, so right around the orbital bone, right above the brow. And this will give you that nice soft finish. And then you can also do the reverse contour where you lightly sweep it right underneath the jaw, so right underneath your contour line. And this is also great if you have too much contour on the skin, it can buff it out. And when you use the matte as a base for the glow, it's going to allow it to diffuse a little bit softer, so you still get that pretty high shine, but it's not so much where it's going to grip the skin too heavily. So with glow, we really want to warm it and work it into the skin. And then if you're using glow on a deeper skin client, what I'd recommend doing is taking the glow and mixing a little bit of the bronze in there, and that will add a little bit more of a warm pigment and make it more universal for all different skin tones. So we'll do that on the other side. Debbie, do you have any other key tips and techniques that you love to use?
No.
No? Totally fine. We all know that the shape matters, so we can quickly go over the quiz one more time. I'm a big fan of the quiz because it's a great way to connect with clients. So the first question we would ask the client again would be, is their face longer than it is wide, or is it equal in length and width? If the face is equal in length and width, the next question you would ask, is their cheek the same width as their jaw, or does their jaw curve in? If their jaw curves in, they'd be more of a round shape. If their cheek was the same width as their jaw, they would have a square-shaped face. If their face is longer than it is wide, the next question you would ask them is their forehead broader than their cheekbone? If their forehead is broader than their cheek, they have a heart-shaped face. But if not, we have one more question to ask, which is the same question that we asked to find if the face was round or square. And that is their cheekbone the same width as their jaw, or does their jaw curve in? So with Debbie, she definitely has more of a really pretty kind of oval shape with a little bit of a stronger jaw. So she's kind of rectangular and oval, so she's like a rectoval. But it's just depends on where you want to contour and highlight, and you can customize that towards different clients. The quiz is just kind of help them guide along the way so they can find out their face shape. And it's really an easier practice for them then to use the products at home. And then reminding them that, of course, in the Shape Matters palette, we have the cards that link to the videos online, or if they don't have an iPhone that works with the card, they can always do the Smashbox.com or go to Smashbox Cosmetics on YouTube. So we love our Shape Matters palette. I think the new updates with the sleeves are great. It really calls out the key benefits of it, so it has a great value, as well as it really kind of plays up how many different features that the palette can work with. But, so this holiday, it's great to have the Shape Matters palette because it's neutral, it's your everyday, it has anything that you need to create a very beautiful kind of Smashbox look. But for holiday, we really wanted to add more vibrancy and have a little bit more fun. So let's talk a little bit about the products that are launching on the gondola right now. First off, we'll talk about our Masterclass palette, which is awesome because it has literally everything you need for creating color rather than our Shape Matters palette, which is a little bit more of those neutrals. So this is based after Iago, and Iago is, again, a painter that lives, or is originally from Barcelona, and he currently lives in Berlin. And he's an up-and-coming artist who really is well-known in the art scene, specifically in Europe, and he's known for creating these really beautiful kind of vibrant paintings and working with really heavy textures, specifically with acrylic and oil paints. One thing that he does not use is black. So he'll really kind of mix all mediums, but his three core colors that he loves to use are the primary. So primary colors include red, blue, and yellow. And then once he uses his primary colors, a lot of times he goes in with a fluorescent color to add in those really vibrant pops. And so that's what you're gonna really see on this packaging, is those primary colors with fluorescent mixed in. And then he does use white paint as well. And so the lovely thing about this is there's no gift wrap necessary because the packaging itself is so beautiful and it has like all that lovely kind of texture and color, and it really is eye-catching. And this is shaped like a palette for a painter, because everything inside is laid out in basically colors. So you have your warms and your cools, blues and purples, greens, reds, oranges. So there's really everything that you need for creating any sort of vibrant look. So if a client already has a full exposure palette or a Shape Matters palette that has all their good basic blending tones, and then this is all the pops of color to make their look unique and fun for the holidays. So with holiday, it is a lot about sparkle. It's not a specific color. You can use basically any color inside of this palette to create something vibrant. And what we're gonna focus on today is some of those fun teals. A lot of times we focus on purples with Debbie, so we're gonna change it up a little bit.
Okay.
All right, so the first thing that we're gonna do is we're going to lay down a little bit of shadow. Debbie, why do you think that holiday is so sparkly this season?
We like to get festive during the holidays, so sparkle is always a great thing during the holidays.
Sparkle is a good thing. It never hurts. So what we're going to do is create a little bit of a cream shadow, and I love to do this because it creates a nice opaque base for your shadow. I'm going to take some of the 24-hour shadow primer in the palm of my hand, keeping it nice and warm, and I'm going to then mix it with the tone that we're going to lay down as her base. So Debbie's lid is already prepped with the shadow primer, but I'm going to take a number 15 bullet brush and a little bit of this really beautiful tone right down at the bottom. That one is called Pacific, and we're going to mix a little Pacific and Azure, and then we're going to blend out the crease with Oxidize and the cheek color in Sunset. So this is a fun way of creating a traditional Smashbox smoky eye, but updating it with a little bit more of a fun tone. So again, I'm going to take some of the Pacific eyeshadow and blend it into the 24-hour shadow primer. And I'm just going to lightly lay this against Debbie's lid. And so this is going to create a nice pop of color against her lash line. And with Debbie's eye shape, because she has a little bit of an almond eye, but she also has a little bit of a hooded eye as well. So it's kind of the combination of two different eye shapes. But we don't want to pull it too far up because it will oversaturate her lid and it will kind of distract from the overall eye look. So we're just again laying that product against her lash bed and then softening it up towards her natural crease in small, short pressing motions and pop open for us. So it's gonna basically kind of saturate her lid nicely. And then I'm gonna go back in and set this with the actual powder, and this is gonna make it look really vibrant. So I'm gonna lay this right against her lash bed, really focusing the pigment as close to the lashes as possible. And when Debbie pops her eye back open afterwards, what we're going to really see is against that lash line is a super vibrant color. And so we have a nice focal point. We'll do this on the other side as well. So just packing it against the lash line, flipping the brush over, going up towards the crease, and lightly diffusing that crease so that most of the pigment is right against those lashes. And pop open for us again. Lovely. So you have a pretty dramatic eye right now, and of course one thing that we never do at Smashbox is that kind of cut crease look or something that has no blending. So now we're going to go in with a blending tone. We're going to start off by blending the Sunset cheek color into our crease. I'm using the number 10 brush, getting the pigment on the top of the brush, and I'm going to start at the outer corner, small circular strokes, working my way all the way across her lid. And this is a really nice color because it's a good transition tone. And so I know that people are looking at this palette and they're not seeing a lot of blending colors, but there actually are quite a few. You have all the blushes, as well as you actually have 11 mattes inside of the palette. So you have a lot of options. So it's not just shimmer or just matte, there's a little bit of everything. And you can create sunset crease, or you can create a smoky look. There's a lot of different things you can do with this. So again, on the other side, starting at the outer corner, blending across, and starting to soften that little bit of a harsher line that we had initially created. So this is something that Debbie loves to do a lot. She always talks about blending her blush into her crease because it creates harmony with the look on her face because you have the same tone on your eyes and cheeks. And it's also just warms up the skin and it really creates a nice kind of look and texture to the skin. Then I'm going to go in with just a touch of this Azure, that deeper matte teal, and I'm going to buff out the crease a little bit more to make sure my transition is really nice and soft. And that's a fun thing about having a palette like this is you really have so many different looks that you can create. So depending on what you're wanting to do, you can do a little bit more of a dramatic crease. Today we're doing a colorful crease, so it's really about diffusing that tone evenly into the skin, and blending is definitely our friend, and this is probably going to be the most time-consuming part of your application, but it's okay to spend a little extra time to make sure that the look is polished and flawless.